First timer here. You're live. 6 seconds in. All right. Hello. Welcome, everybody. I appreciate you guys coming and joining. If this is your first time, appreciate you coming. Please like and subscribe and follow our playlist and channel. If this isn't your first time, thank you so much for returning back. We appreciate your support. Today is going to be a very special live. This is my first time ever doing that. I wanted to do something for men's mental health and bring awareness to the subject. I feel like it's something that's not talked about at all, nearly enough, not just in my own world, but in my community and my circle, and pretty much everywhere, actually. Let's be honest. I got my brother Jay with me here today. Known Jay for about 15 years since I've been in Central Illinois, one of my closest friends and brothers. He's going to help me do this show today. Topic, we just kind of want to give more awareness on identifying anxiety, depression, to talk about mental health, triggers, support systems, and a plan of action. Myself personally, this topic really spoke with me because I'm not going to say I didn't think it existed. It just didn't think it could happen to me. I think most people, most men go through life, or most people, we don't think stuff can happen to us. But I know for men, we're always just a problem solution. Keep your, don't worry about it, get to it and get it done. So I didn't think it was something that could happen. And then when it did, it took me off track. It took me completely by surprise. I was in a very low, bad place because I wasn't ready and prepared. I didn't know, and then once I was able to identify that, I was able to do something about that. You don't go to war without armor, right? Absolutely. So this is why I wanted to do the video, wanted to go live. If you guys are here, jump in, give me some examples of what you're going through. Maybe this is something that you got going on right now, or it speaks to you, or maybe you just wanted to, drop by and say hello. Either way, I appreciate it. Jay, I'm gonna let you jump in. I'm gonna check this real quick.
All right. Well, let me introduce myself to you guys real quick. Like you said, we've known each other for over 15 years now, and I admire this guy. I look up to this dude. He's been one of my strongest support systems throughout my journey in life. It's difficult for all of us at any given time, but mental health, mental awareness, it comes secondary, sometimes 5, 6, secondary to men,
or non-existent.
Absolutely. We don't really identify with it until we have somebody in our corner that actually shows you that they're going through it, or they say something about it. And because, like he said at the top of this, us as men, we put that burden on our back and we strap on our boots and we keep moving. We're not supposed to get emotional. We're not supposed to cry. We're not supposed to hurt. And that's furthest from the truth.
Yeah.
And like I said, I'm a 50-year-old ebony American. I've got 12 kids, 48 grandkids, a beautiful wife. And I surround myself with people who not only need me, but I need them. And I realize that this is only a season. Mental health is a season. You just got to go through it. And I've watched him go through it. I've seen this young man. You got to get down to get up.
Yeah, you got to be able to identify. You got to know it, and once you identify, then you could do something about it. That's the next part of it. Once I was able to realize, like, okay, I'm not okay. There's something going on. Do some self-reflection, and you got to go deep. You can't just, get out of a tragic situation or a life-altering situation and then jump right into something like a relationship or something that you think is the answer. The answer is, finding yourself at that point. You need to be able to heal. You need to be able to understand the situation for what it is, to be able to grieve and work through it. So when I was able to identify it, I was able to start identifying triggers. And that was huge. Being able to recognize certain things that would put me in that roller coaster state of mind, or those feelings of feeling anxious and feeling overwhelmed or alone, or whatever the case was at that time. When you're younger, you have this carefree sense of just running around. Every day is great, fantastic. It's like cake and ice cream every day, right? You know how to live those moments, but nobody's prepared for the hard times or the bad moments.
Nobody thinks it'll happen to them.
Yeah.
The thing is, it starts with the depression, and we don't realize it's depression because we're so used to dealing with it. Like, I realized I was depressed long before I was even an adult, but I didn't know what depression was.
Right.
You know, I was from a household where my father was abusive. My mother was taking on so much pressure. Although she made it appear that we were wealthy and we didn't need anything, we are all connected energy. And especially those who gave birth to us or created us or nurtured us. So you feel that depression, you feel that anxiety.
Yeah.
And if you don't know how to identify with it, you don't even know what a trigger is at that point.
Yeah, you can sit there, soak that up like a sponge, and then leave a conversation with somebody in a bad mood or feeling some type of way and not even know why.
Now you're triggered.
Now you're triggered, right? You know, and that's huge. You know, when I was younger and I was a kid, of course, I didn't have bills. I didn't have responsibilities.
We know what
I
that
didn't
was.
have little eyes looking at me for the answers. And I feel like, you know, as adults, once you start having these kind of things that are going on and you got, you know, people relying on you or whatever has got you feeling overwhelmed or anxious, you can let those thoughts get the best of you.
That's your anxiety.
That's anxiety.
With men, we have to bear the weight of feeding the family. We have to bear the weight of getting up, going to work, making sure everyone's safe. It's my job to make sure everyone feels safe. And we forget to worry about ourselves.
Yeah.
We forget to talk to each other about what we really going through. I'm not talking about video games or trading cards, because that was when you found the trading card world, when you got the LLC, all of this is new to this guy.
Yeah.
And this is a plan of action that happened just.
Yeah, there was a lot of that had to do with it, you know, and I didn't even realize, you know, how much this community, not no more or less a community, the process of doing the YouTube videos, doing the organizing of my cards, you know, the community came later. Shout out to Hammy and Son. I appreciate you, brother.
Hammy and Son, I
You
heard
know,
a lot
my
about
man-
y'all.
My man opened that
Yes, sir.
door open, and it's been a blast and overwhelming ever since.
I
then.
hate
So
to get off the
appreciate
topic,
everybody.
but Hammy and Sons, I got to meet you personally because I've been trying to get this guy to do this for a long time. Okay. He's got the
Facts.
personality. And then here, Hammy and Sons. Hey, stop it.
Hey, he opened the door, but hey, original. That's why you're here. That's why you're here. But shout
I
out to
love
Hammy
it.
and Son,
You
man.
know,
He's a good dude. But you know, going through that process, you know, and speaking of Hammy and Sons, I went on one of his lives that he did with I think it was Zach Sports. Forgive me if I don't have the facts on that. We're just freestyling this.
it's his first
and
time.
it's the first time. But you hear a lot of people talking about in this community how they're going through a depression, how they're feeling alone. They feel like they ain't got nobody they can go to. And I know for me personally, once I was able to identify my triggers, self-reflect, find out what my problems, or the root of the problems really were, and then come up with a plan of action, which was the support system. I should have said plan of action, but support system is part of that plan of action. Once you can utilize all those things, identify, figure out what the issues are, you can start attacking it.
And there's no natural order that they fall into.
No, not at all.
It's like grief. There's 5 levels of it. You know, you don't have to lose somebody to grieve over something. You know, it's the connection we have with one another, with Earth. And just to sum it all up, you have to find a plan to deal with it. It's never going to get easier. It's just going to be manageable. Okay. You got to figure out what the trigger is. And when you figure out the trigger, you got to remove it so you're not triggered as often.
Just identifying it right there is a huge win, to be able to know you can do something about it. Maybe you have to keep away from a certain crowd. Maybe you have to, you know, stay away from certain areas. Don't know what has you in your feelings or what has you going through that, but
what has you triggered?
Need to be able to identify those triggers. And then after that, for me personally, my support system was everything. But when you're going through depression, and again, this was my first time ever going through something like this. I was taught and raised to do this. I just put it on the back, and I put it on the back, and I keep going and going and going. So when I was in my depression, I didn't really realize what was happening. And then when I was in it and realized it, I was already too far gone at that point. I started neglecting my circle, my friends. I stopped doing things that used to be outlets for me to get my mind in a better place, maybe working out or doing hobbies. So once I was able to figure that out, and again, I don't have this figured out. I'm not a doctor, not a psychiatrist, I'm not a counselor, any of that. I'm just telling everybody here right now off my own experience, off living off experience, because that's all life is. It's just living off of experience. But from that moment, you can get your plan of action. And then I started finding myself again. You know, you got to love yourself before you can start loving everybody else or whatever you're doing. So I started collecting cards with my friend, one of my best friends, my son, started doing the YouTube channel, started playing games again or going out and mingling with friends and family and living again instead of living in my own head and my own thoughts are going deeper and deeper into the depression.
And that's what depression is. It isolates you.
Yeah.
What we're gonna do right now is we're gonna share this stream out real quick. So he's gonna jump over here and he's gonna push share. Just share it out to come up in this live stream and really open up to us. I don't think we got a single person right now, but
and that's okay. You know, I just got
what
into
we
the
need
YouTube community. I didn't expect, you know, it to go big or anything.
Sorry, we talk about it how we talk about it, as long as we do it. We get together and we watch sports. We watch football every day.
Sunday. Yeah,
support someone Sunday. That right there just opened up a whole new world for me. I like support someone Sunday.
Appreciate
That's
that.
Amazing.
Yeah, man. You just got to reach out, pay it forward. You remember that was something like 20 years ago, you know, people were paying it forward. You don't see enough of that anymore.
We don't see enough of paying it forward in the right way.
Yeah.
You know, what we're trying to do doesn't cost money. It just doesn't cost money. It's only a season, and while we're in that season, let's do what we have to do. If it's raking grass, cutting the grass, shoveling it, it's a season. Let's get through it and get through it together.
Now, my brother's saying season because we're in Illinois. You know, we go through a winter. I know some of y'all don't go through that, know about the winter blues, but around here we get that once a year.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, this is something that I feel we feel together that it doesn't get spoken on. So that's what we want to do. We want to raise awareness to it. I want to, do this twice a month, once in the beginning, once in the end. And again, this is we're going to tell you our own moments in life and things that we've had go on. You guys are more than welcome to come in here. It's open discussion to give me what's been going on in your world, or if you just need someone to talk to or vent to, definitely here. But again, it was eye-opening for myself, and I know it's been eye-opening for him. But going into this community, just really started pushing out videos really heavy the last 2 months. And in that 2 months, there hasn't been, I'd say, maybe 3 out of 5 people that are in that hobby are going through some kind of PTSD, depression, anxiety, whatever the case may be. And I know as men, you're in your circles, you play around, and men go through a bad breakup. It's you never know what someone's going through. A simple "Hi, how you doing?" As you're greeting them, passing by through a door, can change somebody's life.
How you doing today?
It's huge. And Jay talked about energy earlier. Huge into energy, and when you don't know these things and you're around negative energy, or they say it's company for a reason. So if you're going through it and then you're finding yourself at the end of a depressant or a downer or alcohol or something, or you think you're going the right direction with it and it's not helping, it's only making the situation worse, and then that becomes a cycle, and next thing you know, you're lost in this cycle, and it could be a long cycle if you don't try to get out.
And those cycles, because cycles, what it's like, you're stuck in it. It's one of those things where you want to get out, but you don't really want to move. You like, because if you wanted to get out, you could, type thing, but you stay there. Depression is real. Anxiety is real. Stress is real, and it hits us all differently. None of us are going to be depressed the same way. He and I don't get depressed in the same way. I do certain things. I'll tell a joke all.
At the end of the day, just because you identify and you learn the triggers and you know what it is, you still got to be the one that does something.
Absolutely. Overnight success never lasts long. It's not going to happen overnight. I've been dealing with my depression. Like I said, I'm 50 years old. I've been dealing with it since I was like 21, really get serious help until 6 years ago.
Yeah. I just started going through it a couple years ago, and then, I'm 38. Yeah, and again,
It's only
that's
been,
just being naive of not knowing that it was something that
I've
it
been
can
in
never
therapy for
happen to
2
me.
years. Only 2.
And this has been my therapy for the last 2 years. So, I want to say thanks to everybody out there that has been following, watching our journey. Couldn't be here without you guys and gals. Much appreciated, because I know I'm putting this on Facebook and I got a lot of support out there from friends and family. But yeah, I'm not going to talk too long on this one. We just wanted to get it out for the first
Yeah.
episode. Thank you so much. For coming here talking about men's mental health, something that I don't feel like gets discussed nearly enough. Maybe next time you'll jump in and help us further discussion. Peace and love to everybody out there. I appreciate y'all stopping by. Happy Friday. Enjoy Labor Day weekend.
Yeah.